1580.
That's right.
Again, you can find all of our socials at KBLA 1580.
We've got a lot to talk about.
By the way, if you miss any of our weekday shows in real time, you can always catch up by checking out the podcast of your favorite shows at your leisure. At KBLA Talk 1580, we've got your black.
Got your blood.
Keep following the leader.
Oh my God.
Follow the leader. Follow the leader. Follow the leader. Follow the leader. Follow the leader.
Thursday. You are locked in with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580. I'm your resident cultural translator. And, tonight we're going to get into a little front page, little headlines, little timeline, refresher, and some stuff that will make you go, what the helly? What the hell? We're going to get into all of that. First of all, shout out to Andy for pulling out the cuts. Bernard Wright. 1980, I think 4, maybe 84ish, 85, somewhere in there. I remember this video because they were like rolling on the sidewalk and the camera rolled with them and the world was spinning around them. It was so creative. Anyway, shout out to Andy because he always has the hits. And really, what we should have been playing was something that says, who hurt you? Because that's what I want to know. Paul Pierce, former NBA, Paul Pierce was a star, Inglewood's own. He's an NBA champion, one of LA's finest when you think of athletics. I mean, really, because he really is Boston's, but he's ours. He was created here. He's been wilding out on his podcast, Truth After Dark. And, Paul has, been divorced for a couple years now. We know he likes the libations. And so he broke out with an opinion that is not something that we haven't heard before, but it's just like, Paul, why? Why, Paul? So we'll get into what Paul Pierce had to say about women once they reach 30, and we're going to discuss it. We're also going to get into Tiny Harris, she of Escape, T.I.'s wife. Yesterday we got the verdict that Diddy was acquitted on 3 of the 5 charges. And Tiny left a comment on social media that, of course, has some of you raising your eyebrows and being very judgy. So we'll get into what Tiny had to say. And we're talking Venus Williams. Yes, the Queen V. She is getting into some of the real reasons why she hasn't been herself on the tennis court these past few years. And it is something that I think is an important topic. It is something that seems to happen a lot with Black women, and we don't have a lot of conversations around it, but it is important. It is about fibroids. And so we'll talk about what Venus discovered and what she had to say. And just a little PSA for my sisters out there, because, we're all we got, right? We really all we got. Also, we are on the cusp of a holiday weekend, right? So what do you guys do for 4th of July? Like, is there a certain food type you want? I love summer food, barbecue, potato salad, all of that. You gonna set off the fireworks? I know they're illegal in most places, but this year, it's actually not too bad. Like, for a couple of years, you would hear fireworks all through June leading up to the 4th of July. And then on the 4th of July, it would sound like a war zone. This year, I've only heard a couple of pops this week. I know it's going to be active tomorrow. But how do you celebrate the 4th of July? It's actually one of my favorite holidays.
I haven't seen too many firework little stations.
I feel like they don't have them. I feel like they really finally got them up out of here.
I guess so. But my thing is, how are you going to police people cracking fireworks? I'm just curious to know that. Like, are you going to be patrolling around the city looking at like ICE or something like that? And if you see somebody trying to light one, you about to arrest them? I'm just kind of curious.
I mean, maybe, you know. I don't know. I think fireworks are romantic, except when it sounds like Beirut or something like that. Then I can't get with it. Listen, when we come forward, we're going to get into Paul Pierce. We're going to let you hear exactly what he said, the conversation he and his co-host had. And, I want to hear your opinions on this. What are your thoughts? Because I have mine. And, I won't say I agree with Paul, but I know what he's talking about. Just historically. We'll get into all those details on the other side. You're locked in with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
Your ride with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
At KBLA Talk 1580, we're proud to be celebrating 4 years on the air, but we know we could not have made it this far without you. We work hard every single day to curate conversations that will enlighten, encourage, and empower you. So, from all of us at KBLA Talk 1580, a big thank you for your love and support.
You don't know how much you mean to me.
And by the way, if your smartphone did not update automatically, be sure to download our brand new KBLA 1580 app. We think you'll love all the new features, including new ways to send us photos and video in real time, whenever news breaks, while we're on the air. It's a new dawn, a new day for KBLA Talk 1580, and we're glad you're on this journey with us.
You never turned away, you were right there. Thank you.
Agnes was in deep trouble with the IRS.
I owed the IRS a lot of money. I did not know what I was going to do. I was scared.
Agnes caught a break and found out about Optima Tax Relief.
But when I called Optima Tax, they guaranteed me that they were going to help me out the best that they can. And they did.
Optima stopped the IRS.
No more telephone calls, no more letters. Optima Tax took care of everything. I can finally sleep at night. I was stress-free.
Agnes was finally free from her IRS nightmare.
It was like a burden was lifted off of me, and it was a great feeling.
Are you in deep trouble with the IRS? You might want to listen to Agnes.
I would refer Optima Tax Relief to anyone because they got me debt-free from owing the IRS any more money.
Call Optima right now for your free consultation. Call 800-919-9077. 800-919-9077. 800-919-9077.
Optima Tax Relief.
Testimonial from an actual client. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. If you need help getting your resume in order, finding job training, or landing a job, we've got 3 great options for you. First, the City of Los Angeles has WorkSource centers across the area offering free job support. The California Workforce Development Board can help you with everything from GED prep to vocational training at no cost to you. On the federal level, the Department of Labor's American Job Centers offer a full range of services for job seekers and businesses alike. Visit careeronestop.org, or for more info, just call California's Help Center or visit cwdb.ca.gov or call 916-657-1440. For the City of Los Angeles programs, go to ewdd.lacity.gov or call 213-744-7300. All these services are free to help you get your next job. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Now back to more entertainment news with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
Welcome back in. You're locked in with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580. So if at any point you want to get in on this conversation, give us a call, 800-920-1580. Of course, we're also on social media, KBLA 1580. I am personally at Stiletto Jill everywhere. Hit me up, holla at your girl, say hi. Let me know what you're thinking about. And if you haven't already, download the app because it's all new, it's updated, it's refreshed. There's so much going on there. And, get ready to get into some things tonight. So, you got Paul Pierce, NBA champion Paul Pierce, Inglewood's own, although the chat is saying we really can't fully claim him anymore. He's Boston's, which, I get it. I feel it. But he's from LA, right down the street. He has a podcast called The Truth After Dark, right? And we've seen some of Paul's proclivities. If you remember a few years back, was that during the pandemic when that happened, when he got fired from ESPN? I don't know if it was that long ago, but remember he had the strippers shaking booty. He was playing cards, taking a little hit of the green lettuce and drinking, right? It was an RN night. And he was fired from ESPN subsequently because of that. But now he has a podcast that is called The Truth After Dark, in addition to his FS1 duties, where, they discuss off-the-court things, mostly relationship issues. And like any other podcast bro with a mic. Yeah, he's a podcast bro. At this point. He gets into these relationship topics with his, let's say, what do we want to call Paul's takes? Misogynistic, maybe? Little bit. Rich guy syndrome. He seems a little bitter sometimes. It's like, who hurt you, Paul? Maybe your ex-wife. I did hear she took a lot of money in the divorce. I don't know. Still got child support. He's not happy about that. And anyway, they have these conversations. He has a co-host. His co-host is younger than Paul. I think, how old is Paul? Paul is like 45, 46 now, I think. And, like I mentioned, he's divorced. And it was a rough divorce. Paul is 47. Way too old to be having these conversations. He's another one like Shannon Sharp talking about he ain't dating no older women. Right? And older, I'm not talking even about women his age. He's not dating women in their 30s, right? Why? Because he says that when women reach 30, they're washed. They're cooked. Game over, right? So I'm going to let you hear. Oh, by the way, he was married for 13 years, but they were together for about, I want to say 16, 17 years total. They were together a little bit before they got married. Paul was in them streets. He openly admits to it. He was in them streets while they were dating. He was in them streets while they were married. He said part of the problem, I'm setting this up because I want you guys to understand the full scope and context of where the truth is at this moment in time as he is delivering these sermons, right? So he said that children changed the relationship because he didn't understand. Sounds like he had a bit of jealousy over the kids because, when you're married and you have children, sometimes the focus switches. It's not just you and bae anymore. It's you, bae, and a baby. And some men aren't prepared for the lack of attention that they get because the wife is taking care of the young child. Paul was one of those men. He said it, not me. He admitted to it, okay? You could go find it. So he's been having a lot of expressions about, marriage, women, wife. He said his woman wasn't doing what he was used to doing, and so he went and got what he was missing elsewhere, okay? So that's basically the scenario that led to the divorce. So now this is what he has to say about women who are 30 and up as far as dating potential.
I'm just tired of these females who cooked after 30. I'm going to say it like that. Cooked.
Okay, so you're personally attacking me, so I would like to know.
How am I attacking you?
Because I'm after 30, so I'm cooked.
Yeah. Yeah. Listen.
I'm crying.
Yes, dog. Listen, dog. Guys is over here like, your prime is 25 to 30. Let's keep it 100.
But let me say this. I hear exactly what you're saying, right? I've heard it before. People have said it. Women age like milk, men age like fine wine. I've heard it 1,000 times, right? For me personally, I'm going to say this. Maybe I am cooked, but you know what? I'm cooked and it tastes delicious because I was not given what I needed to give when I was in my 20s. I didn't know my body. I didn't know what I wanted. I didn't know what I liked. I didn't know how to suck. I didn't know how to throw it back. Now I could do all of those things plus more. I understand who I am as a woman. My emotional maturity is here. And at the end of the day, I know that it feels like there's women who are jaded because they've been with so many men and now they're cooked. I understand that perspective. But personally, for me, I feel so into my bag as a 30-year-old because...
And then after 34, 35, man, think about this. When I cook some food, all right, it's cooked, right? Now I ate some, then it's leftovers. Then I put it in the refrigerator. After so many days, you got to throw it out. You know what I'm saying?
This is crazy.
Like, how long do Thanksgiving food last after Thanksgiving? How many days we giving it? 3? Then you throw it out. So that means if you cooked at 30, 35, we got to throw it out.
So, what are we doing with the 47-year-old man, Paul, whose beard still doesn't connect? But
Dang, Jill.
I'm just saying, Paul is coming for the ladies, and I'm not gonna stand for it.
Look, I wish he would have went maybe a little bit more in depth. You know what I'm saying? He just said at 30 and you're cooked. Like, but why?
Right. That's one thing, right? But I don't have to guess why. I know what he's talking about. He is implying, there's a little sag where there used to be a little bounce, a little 1 and 2. He's probably saying mentally, right? The women aren't moldable after that. They've probably been through a heartbreak or 2. They know what they like, what they don't like, as his co-host alluded to, right? Know their bodies. So you're not just going to accept anything. And that's not even saying that as if someone's trying to dog you, but just if you're in a relationship, right? And it is your first or second relationship, right? Maybe you haven't had that many. And your man goes, hey, I don't really do the Valentine's Day thing. I'm not big on gifts. Christmas, maybe your birthday, but we don't really got to do all of that. And Valentine's Day, absolutely not, right? But later on, you find out in your next relationship, after you find out he didn't do Valentine's Day because he was spread thin and he didn't want to gift everybody with gifts or something like that, cheap, didn't have it, didn't like you like that, whatever the reason, right? And you get with a guy and he does all the things you like for Valentine's Day. He gets you chocolate, flowers, a card, something nice, whatever, right? And you're like, hey, I really like this. So you're not going to go for a guy saying, I don't really do the Valentine's Day thing, because that doesn't work for you. I'm talking about that type of stuff. It may seem small, but I'm just saying those little things, you may not be able to manipulate a woman in the same way that you could when she's in her 20s and may not know as much, right? But let's be clear. He's talking about looks going off a cliff. Because what is the old adage? Women get old, men become distinguished as they age. You heard his co-host alluding to the same thing, kind of similar. He's basically saying everything ain't tight and right no more. Although with surgery, I don't know why that matters. But he has to be real with himself. Paul, do you think these young ladies are with you because you are virile and so sexy in your late 40s? And that's not a diss. I'm not saying he's an unattractive man. He's not in shape or any of that. I am just asking, realistically speaking, do you think all of these 20-year-olds want you for your charming wit? Or is it the potential that you might drop a bag? If you're cool with that, that's fine, right? Probably not having a lot of conversation. I'm just saying that based off of the things I've seen on the podcast. Not that I'm questioning his intellectual greatness. I'm just saying he doesn't seem like he's interested in having a lot of conversations. I just think that he's in a time frame where he's feeling a little bitter, whatever didn't happen with his man. Oh, but here's the thing, though. He's been divorced for about 5 or 6 years now. So really, he should be past it. He was out the door before he was divorced. So, I mean, ease up on the ladies. The chat is going in. The chat has a lot to say. Let me get to some of this commentary because it's busy. Morris Phillips says Paul hasn't done anything for Inglewood and the Inglewood Unified School District. I mean, listen, the Inglewood Unified School District has had some issues. Royal Jenkins said, hey, Paul's not the truth. Morris Phillips also said Paul sounds like he smoked a bleezy. Just listen to it. I mean, I did mention that he was, highest giraffe scooter on that on that video that he put on his live stream that time. He's known to have a little vape, and, I don't think that is too far of a stretch. But I think even if he was dead sober, he'd probably still feel this way because he seems to be dealing with some emotions and some feelings. Who hurt you, Paul? We know your ex-wife probably, but who else? Terry says Paul can do it that way that Elon Musk does. Elon has 6 kids and he isn't married. Paul, I think, has 3 or 4 children. Listen, Royal Jenkins says I'm roasting Paul. I'm not roasting. I enjoy Paul. He makes me laugh. Back in the day, I had a friend that used to date him for a hot minute. So
how did that go?
It went how you expected it to go.
It was fun for him, for both.
Probably at times.
Was your friend expecting more?
I believe she did want more. But here's the thing, right? Oh my God, this is crazy. Good thing that in the past I've talked to her about this and I have permission to share some of these things.
You ain't saying no names?
I'm not saying any names, but one of the issues that they had was that he felt like she wasn't on him enough, that she wasn't on his back. Yeah. So, Paul secretly is a lover boy. He wants you to be up in his face a little bit.
Hey, look. We like that attention too. Be up in our face. Don't be in everybody else's face. Be up in my face.
But here's the thing, right? Cool. I feel that I could do that for you. I could be up in your face, But, babe, are you going to be up in my face back? Are you going to be up in my face and up in Chick 2B's face tomorrow with the same game?
So there's no reciprocation?
Yes, but like kind of, but not really, right? Like I just feel like the thirst should be mutual. I don't feel like it should be heavier on one side where one person feels like they're low key begging. I don't like it. I don't like that. So, Terry says now the older women are dating young men and young men love it. I mean, listen. Shout out to Drea Michelle. Shout out to Tay Heckert. Shout out to, who else? Keisha Cole. Shout out to, it's a bunch of them out there that got them a little young tender on the line. It's not a new thing, though. It's been going around for a long time. But the conversation, even with that, is not, yeah, he's with this older, refined woman. It's like, yeah, you want to have his fun, have the experience, and move around. Do you know what I'm saying? That's how a lot of people put it out there. Andrea's catching heck about, her little baby's daddy. And he looks so happy and in love. They put up a video the other day. He was holding her hand. I can't remember what song he was playing. Some song about a baddie in the background. And he was showing Drea. And Drea was there looking all fine and body is T, right? And still people in the comments, she looks like his mom. Maybe so, but I bet you your mama don't look like that.
Was it the women or was it the men making those comments?
I'm going to say it was both.
Okay.
You know, there's a little bit of both. I think that there might be some women that are a little envious that a woman that is 40, a 2-time before she had this latest child, baby mama, and is, you know, friendly, free, right? It's upsetting to some women and some men sometimes when they see a woman like that continue to win. I put win in quotes, right? That can be upsetting to some women because they feel like she wasn't a good girl. We're always told that being a good girl is the way to win. And a lot of times that just isn't true, unfortunately. You know, the people that were deemed as the undesirable ones, the ones that aren't going to win, they're going to win a couple times too. You just got to take it with, you know, how it goes. At any rate, we'll get, Channing Thompson's asking, did he get traded to the Suns? Are you talking about Paul Pierce, Channing Thompson? You know Paul Pierce has not been in the league for about 8 years. What are you talking about? Fahima says, sadly, Paul will depend on volunteers at the nursing home because of his desire to sow his wild oats after the harvest. You're right about that, because men like that usually end up single and alone later. But we're not going to wish that on Paul. We're going to wish that he gets it together, finds happiness. And this is just a phase. When we come forward, we'll have more trending topics and headlines. You're locked in with Jill Munroe.
I ain't gonna cry no hunt, I ain't gonna cry no rape either. I got my own cake, you ain't gonna make me wait either. Yeah. My ever cheat on me, I bet we break even. Still my bet he can't leave me. Never gave him, I ain't never gave no. Fell out with them, we ain't never making no. Back for everything I ever lost, I'm on the mission.
You're in the know with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
I'm Amber Payton with BIN News Now. The House is sending President Trump's so-called Big Beautiful Bill to his desk.
We're just ready to get it done and deliver this product for the people, so we're excited about it.
Black House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries spoke for over 8 hours trying to stall the vote, but Republicans secured enough support to move forward. Former Vice President Kamala Harris is leading early in a possible 2026 California governor's race. A new UC poll shows Harris with 24% support, but 40% of Californians say they're still undecided. Harris, who once served as state attorney general and senator, is considering a run to replace Governor Gavin Newsom. And Donasia Yancey, founder of Boston's Black Lives Matter chapter, is still employed by the city months after a felony assault arrest in April. She's on unpaid leave from her role as deputy director in the LGBTQ+ office, where she made $116,000 last year. Get BIN News Now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
La Crescenta 210 eastbound before Ocean View. A crash is blocking the 2 right lanes, delays away from Pennsylvania Avenue. Also, let's head out to the drive in Willowbrook. It's a wreck reported on the 105 eastbound at Central Avenue. Delays here are backing up away from the 110 freeway. And out to Porter Ranch with a wreck on the 118 westbound at Reseda Boulevard. 2 middle lanes is where it landed. They're trying to clear to the shoulder. That drive is a mess. Getting away from Havenhurst.
Rapid radios are instant push-to-talk walkie-talkies offering national LTE coverage and no subscription ever. Business owners can now keep in touch with up to 200 staff members at one time. Go to rapidradios.com now for up to 60% off and free shipping.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
The Lakers had to move pretty quick to sign free agent center DeAndre Ayton. At least 6 NBA teams, including the Clippers, made calls to Ayton's agent Bill Duffy to see if the 7-year veteran would be willing to sign with them. Duffy talked with all 6 teams, but the 7-foot Ayton preferred the Lakers. After playing 2 seasons with Portland, Ayton said he wanted to play for a team that has a winning environment. Portland has not made the playoffs since 2021. The Trailblazers honored Ayton's request and released him last week. Besides the Clippers, Ayton was being courted by Denver, Indiana, Milwaukee, Cleveland, and the New York Knicks. Ayton has some skills. He was a 56% shooter last season with Portland. Ayton was the number 1 overall pick in the 2018 NBA draft by Phoenix. The Suns made the playoffs with Ayton in all 5 seasons he was there. They traded Ayton to Portland in 2023 after a contract dispute. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson. More news, opinions, and conversation when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
Follow the leader.
KBLA Talk 1580.
Follow the leader.
If you're not following KBLA Talk 1580 on all of our socials, then you're missing out. Download our app and find us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and on the web at KBLA 1580.
That's right.
Again, you can find all of our socials at KBLA 1580.
We've got a lot to talk about.
By the way, if you miss any of our weekday shows in real time, you can always catch up by checking out the podcasts of your favorite shows at your leisure. At KBLA Talk 1580, we've got your black.
Follow the leader. Following the leader. Oh my God. Follow the leader. Follow the leader. Follow the leader. Follow the leader. Follow the leader.
An official message from Medicare.
I turned 65 this year. I knew it was time to figure out Medicare, and I had questions like when to enroll and how to enroll. So I went straight to the official source, Medicare.gov, to get the facts about Medicare. I found answers to all my questions, and I'm ready to get started. And so can you. Just go to Medicare.gov to get the real facts about Medicare.
Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Are you having trouble hearing? Hearing loss can devastate the quality of your life. Now, there's an affordable fix for you or your loved one. Rated the best hearing aids of 2025 by Forbes Health, Audion Hearing has the highest quality hearing aids at the lowest prices, starting at just $98 a pair.
I actually like them better than my old $5,000 hearing aid.
I could not believe how my hearing and life changed.
Join over 1 million happy customers by going to audionhearing.com. That's AUDIEN hearing.com.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580 reminds you, when we fight, we win. The Youth Justice Coalition is challenging America's addiction to incarceration and discrimination. YJC works to dismantle policies leading to mass incarceration, law enforcement violence, and the school-to-prison pipeline. Their approach, transformative justice, community intervention, free LA high school, legal defense, and system monitoring. YJC promotes safety without relying on prisons. Their goal, prevent system contact and help people exit the system through direct action, advocacy, and education. Want to get involved or need help? Call 323-235-4243. That's 323-235-4243. Join YJC in creating change. When we fight, we win. KBLA Talk 1580, your voice for justice. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Hey there, Los Angeles. This is James Lucky Jr., publisher and editor of Los Angeles News Observer. Are you hungry for news that matters to you in the African-American communities of Los Angeles? Well, buckle up, because we got the scoop you've been craving. Stay in the know and never miss a beat with our free weekly publications conveniently available near you. Or hop on the digital wave and become an exclusive subscriber at OGNSC.com. Don't forget to join the party on Instagram and Twitter at OGNSCINC for behind-the-scenes access and sizzling updates. No more FOMO. Let's stay informed, connected, and empowered together.
You're listening to Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
Money just changed everything. I wonder how life without it would go. From the concrete, who knew that a flower would grow? Looking down from the top and it's crowded below. My 15 minutes started an hour ago. Truth over fame, you know I respect the blatant shit. When I hear him talking, I just don't know what to make of it. Hate is so familiar to me, I'm slowly embracing it. Doesn't come natural, bear with me, it could take a bit. Yeah, and my dreams are who I'm racing with, but you can see I'm pacing it so that I'm always chasing it. Wayne put me right here, that's who I get the paper with. I hope that my success never alters our relationship. Yeah, this life is something I would die for. October's on, but it's looking like July 4. I just wish they let you try it first. This time I'm really going off. Fireworks.
Today it begins. I've missed them before, but won't miss them again. I keep having the same dream, and I think that I just realized what it means. All I see is fire.
Welcome in. Locked in with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580. We're being festive, getting ready for the holiday tomorrow. You guys haven't let me know what's on the menu. Little barbecue, little Q, little ribs, little chicken, little hot dogs. What are we doing? If you're vegan, what is the option? Some fruit, some skewers?
I just want some barbecue.
Just some barbecue? With ribs?
Ribs, burgers, links, all of it.
All of it? Okay.
And it's not a celebration for me, really. It's just,
it's just a day.
It's just a day to eat.
Just a holiday.
It's a holiday to eat and a day off.
A day off. I love y'all, but shout out to the day off. I'm gonna be big chillin'. Big chillin'. All right, so we talked a little bit about Paul Pierce and him saying women are cooked after 30. I think it's just hurt. I really do. I think once he is over this phase, getting the heartache out of his system, again, that is my assumption. I don't know that for a fact. He might disagree. I think he'll settle down with a woman close to his age, around his age, that he can have conversation with. Because right now he thinks he doesn't want to talk, but clearly he wants to have conversation, but he probably wants to be the ruler of his home. Because the thing that I've noticed that men end up finding, especially when they're older and they get with younger, like considerably younger women than them, right? It is about control, but then sometimes they're also frustrated because, right, they might be tired. Pop don't want to go hit the streets like he used to. Young girl gonna want to go get out in them streets and enjoy herself. She don't want to sit down and have dinner with you at 7 o'clock and go to bed. Do you know what I'm saying? Things like that. They want to live their life, and the older guy generally wants to slow them down to their pace, but make it, so that they don't ask the questions they don't want to answer. Try and train them, mold them. What did Diddy say about Cassie in the trial? He liked her because she was moldable. So I'm not saying that's the case with every, age gap relationship. People can be attracted to, people like what they like. But I just think Paul is, operating from a position of hurt at this time. And, we're going to give him time to heal. Royal Jenkins says that Aaliyah song, Age Ain't Nothing But a Number. Yeah, we probably don't want to make that reference. First album that was produced by who? In reference to what? That's probably one of those topics you just got to stay away from. But shout out to Aaliyah. That was, my jam. I don't know if we're allowed to listen to that album anymore. I think we're only allowed to listen to albums 2 and 3. Not sure. The rules are the rules. Andy, what you got to say? You look like you got something to say. No? Okay. All right. So we're going to leave Paul where he is. Almost 50, a podcast bro, and giving out retirement home relationship advice like it's the gospel. He should chill.
Look, you got to explain this podcast bro stuff. Who are the podcast bro? What are they all about?
I'm just saying, Myron from those guys from Fit and Fresh.
Oh, the Red Pill cats?
The Red Pill guys. Yeah, just,
Andrew Tate.
All of them. Just, there's a bunch of different relationship podcasts, whatever, where, we have these conversations. This is what men want. This is what you should be doing by this age.
What about,
this is how you should. Yeah.
What show is that? Tonight's Conversation? Ace Metaphor? Are you familiar with him?
I probably would have to see. Okay. I might be. Sounds familiar. I mean, listen, I am being a little facetious in this, but, sometimes it's just like, you guys aren't talking about anything that we haven't discussed 784 times beforehand. Like, just chill out. Like who you like. If you connect with that individual, please do so. If you don't like older women and you're older, hey, rock out. Do you know what I'm saying? They'll bypass. Whatever, though. All right, let's get into the next topic, which is kind of, in the same vein of maybe, maybe not. Social media was a little upset with this one. We know that on July 1st, right, it was announced that Diddy was acquitted on 3 of the 5 charges, right? And I mentioned that LaWanda, who's Kim Porter's former best friend, made a post, and she was basically, saying that the right decision was made. She is the one that was responsible for helping to take care of Diddy and Kim's twin daughters, Jessie and Delilah, once Kim passed. And so under her post, several people jumped in to co-sign with what she was saying. One of them was Tiny of Escape, Tamika Harris. And she typed, "Yeah, people want to charge you so bad for being freaky. That's nasty work." Now, if you recall, T.I. and Tiny were accused of their own version of freak-offs. They like to get it popping. And, some women kind of changed the situations of the stories. It is important to note that the civil suit that was filed, it ended up, I can't remember if Sabrina, she was a former friend, rescinded it. I think that the judge ruled against her. I don't know if it went all the way through the ruling or if something happened in the case in between and she dropped it. But T.I. and Tiny did not lose that case. And there was nothing that is proven that they were involved in things that people did not want to be involved in with them. I think the thing that is concerning, and I'm saying this removed from the Diddy trial, but understanding that this is in the halo of that topic, that subject matter, is, and this is not victim blaming, this is not about anyone in particular, just a scenario, a situation. Back in the day, and I talked about this a little bit last night, there used to be sayings like hard head makes a soft behind, right? You gonna find, lay down with dogs, get up with fleas. Basically, if you are making a decision that you already know is not the best decision for you, when you get an outcome that sucks, that may be harmful to you, it is a learning lesson for you. And it doesn't mean that anyone is saying that you deserved it to happen, but you made a choice, you learn from it, you pick yourself up, and you do better, right? And so I think that in some of these situations, it can feel like, again, I'm not talking about the domestic violence. I'm not specifically talking about Diddy and Cassie. I'm not talking about specifically the case with T.I. and Tiny. I'm just saying in general, it can sometimes feel like these individuals are having buyer's remorse. Basically, they wanted to try something out. It didn't end up landing the way that they thought. And instead of taking accountability, like, hey, I made that choice. It wasn't the greatest choice. I'm going to choose differently from now on. They're turning it into something else. I don't know if that's exactly true for all of the things that we're hearing about, but certainly for some. And it is an interesting prospect. Accountability seems to be scary for a lot of people. And I do sometimes think that is a dangerous place, especially where we are as far as what the government is trying to do, to strip women of their agency at times. I understand what the concern or threat of violence, even emotional sort of threats to women. But I also understand that women know better in some instances. Again, not talking about Diddy and Cassie, not talking about anything specific, just in general. You know that your mom didn't raise you to put your hand on women. You also know as a woman, your parents didn't raise you to put hands on a man or to sit in a situation where someone is physically abusing you. You know? So we'll get into those details some other time. But, you know, I mean, Tiny is just defending her brethren. Some people are freaks. We know this. It's not a secret. Although, and I say this again, using the term freaky really feels poorly placed at this moment, because Diddy and them, if that's a freak off, baby, the rest of the world is quite tame. Quite. I don't want no parts of that type of life. I'm so sorry. You do what you like. I'm not judging. I'm just talking about me personally. When we come forward, we got some phone calls. We'll get into that and more trending topics and headlines. You're locked in with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
Are you ready for the hottest entertainment scoop in Los Angeles? She's bringing you exclusive interviews with today's biggest stars, behind-the-scenes Hollywood insights, and all the entertainment news you need to know. She's breaking down what's trending, what's ending, and what's just beginning in the world of entertainment. You're riding with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
JP Morgan Chase offers tips for the local business owners in 2025. Small business landscape is ever changing, and the Los Angeles market is no exception. A startup or legacy business, revisiting your mission statement and recalibrating offerings can renew opportunities for growth and innovations. Programs like Chase for Business Coaching for Impact gives entrepreneurs access to expert guidance, helping you streamline operations, strategize your growth, and navigate complex challenges. Businesses with a clear sense of purpose can navigate any challenge effectively, but also build stronger customer loyalty. Visit chase.com/coaching for impact for more information. This segment is sponsored by JP Morgan Chase.
All I need is one mic.
With a KBLA Talk 1580 editorial, I'm Tavis Smiley. I do not consider myself a fan of Sean Puffy, Puff Daddy, P. Diddy, Diddy Love, Brother Love Combs. But one doesn't have to be a fan to acknowledge a simple truth about his recent jury trial. I think the primary reason he was acquitted of those sex trafficking and RICO charges is because he was overcharged in the first place. Mine is not to opine on his guilt or innocence on any of the charges the feds brought against him. But I predicted months ago that he would beat the most serious charges because, as usual, prosecutors have a really bad habit of overcharging black men. Dave Chappelle said it best: Puffy is in a RICO case all by himself, man. Hilarious and arresting at the same time. When prosecutors put a target on the backs of black men, they throw everything at them just to see what sticks. And too often, just like in the Puffy case at the very end, they move to dismiss some of the charges and then double down on the ones they think they can win. It's racist and it's wrong, and somebody ought to say so. I think I just did. Not for the benefit of Puffy, but on behalf of all the other black men who have been and sadly will be woefully overcharged in the future. With a KBLA Talk 1580 editorial, I'm Tavis Smiley. As always, we welcome your feedback.
You're listening to Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
Welcome back in. You're locked in with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580. We have Eric from Carson on the line. You want to get into this tiny topic. What's going on, Eric? How are you this evening?
Hey, Jill. Happy 4th.
Happy 4th to you, too.
So I just want to say that T.I. and Tiny have a camaraderie that I respect. It's not about what they do. It's about how they do it. And when you hook up with somebody and you have a meeting of the minds with a mate, that's got to be the equivalent of a soulmate. And I'll just say that Tiny and Ray J have proven that they are down with their peer in the industry. And we both know how they get down, based on what we've heard. am seen. So
What do
all I
we
can
know
say
about Ray J? What do we know about Ray
we
J?
know
How
he
Ray
did
J
a
gets
sex
down?
tape. He did a sex tape with Kim Kardashian, and then they exploited it for money. I ain't mad at him. I'm just saying that, in my opinion, it has the Diddy trial concluded with it was about a sexual fetish, and that's what Tiny and Ray J are commenting on. And I think that she's 10 toes down with her peer.
Well, yeah. I mean, T.I. and Tiny, they like to do things. Now, Ray J, I think Ray J is just trying. I don't think Ray J's support is necessary. Well, I don't know, but I'm not saying it's necessarily in support of a lifestyle thing. I think that it is more of a camaraderie, just in general. But we don't know. All
you know what
right.
I think? One last point.
Yes.
Ray J is one of the smartest people that I observed in the business, and this could be just a very smart move to stay in with a billionaire. I ain't mad at it.
I mean, it very well could be. I've known Ray for a number of years, and that's why I talk about all the time the type of things that he does for self-promotion, and I'm not even saying it in a negative way. I'm just saying that, Ray is definitely somebody, I believe, who sometimes stands by the adage, all press is good press. So there it is right there. Thanks for the call, Eric. All right, really quickly, Venus Williams, she's shedding some light on a silent battle that she is enduring, one that a lot of women, millions of women go through, especially black women. In a July 1st interview, she shared with the Today Show that for years she suffered from extreme pain, nausea, fatigue, and anemia due to undiagnosed fibroids, right? At one point, Venus said the cramps were so bad that she could barely stand. And the last time she and Serena won the doubles, I believe it was at Wimbledon, she said that she almost couldn't come out of the locker room. She had to lie on the floor and, try and get herself together to get her bearings around her. She wasn't diagnosed until 2024, and she underwent a myectomy at NYU. And she said that her life has changed since removing that issue, not going through that. For tons of women, every month, it causes extra long period cycles. We talked about the cramping, the nausea. Really, it's hard to do anything. And so, but it's often underdiagnosed. They don't really know the causes of it. And it's something that we don't spend a lot of time discussing. But 80% of black women develop fibroids by age 50. They're the leading cause of hysterectomies in the United States. And despite that prevalence, many doctors refuse to recognize or acknowledge it, particularly in black female patients. So be aware, keep it on your mind. We have a call, Leroy from Inglewood. He wants to talk about it. Leroy, how are you this evening? Let me know what's on your mind.
Greetings. Can you hear me clearly?
I can.
Yes, thank you. I just wanted to touch this topic. I'm going to stay away from the Paul Pierce and Tiny and stuff. I could go there easily. But,
I mean, I would like you to go there. If you want to go there, go there. Come on, you're on the line. It's a holiday weekend.
Okay, look, there's no new sex. Sex is very old on this planet. There's never been a time in history where older men were not attracted to younger women.
Facts.
There's never been a time in history where older women, especially married women, did not, especially if they were rich, did not know how to go out and have fun with younger men. There's never been a time in history where those two things were not true.
Fair.
In terms of healing, now let me move swiftly into healing. And we never had internet. We never had digital media where everybody could get exposed all the time around the globe. People were able to sneak and do these things discreetly and keep it away from the children.
That is
so. This is ugly, and it gets out here, and it should stay private. Nonetheless, Queen Afua has helped women form healing circles for quite some time. Most hysterectomies are totally unnecessary. I didn't say all, but most. Mm-hmm. You can juice those away. You can deworm and juice those away. Dr. Bobby Price, Yaki Awakened. obviously Queen Afua, have proven methods online that you don't have to go all across the globe to go find these things. Sundiata Ali, a sister right here locally, Desmonette Hazley, psychiatric nutritionist, nutritional psychologist, depending on where they want to call the term, can help you with teas, with green juice, and with healing in less than 90 days to reverse many of your cancer and diabetes issues, including fibroid tumors. So check that information out. I pray that we be about the healing instead of sending women through these torturous regimes that are designed to punish them. And you do know microplastics and lead are in your tampon. You do know cancer is in your braids. You do know that it's in your lotions, your eyelash glue, that they are purposely targeting women, specifically targeting black women for cancer and the diseases. So we got to be about the healing.
I appreciate your call, Leroy. I appreciate everything that you had to input in that, because it is true that, you know, black women are underdiagnosed when it comes to fibroids, and these things, our pain symptoms are overlooked. We have to, it is assumed that when we do come in and have pain for different types of things, we have to toughen it up. You know, they're leery to give us pain medications and things of that nature, assuming that we are addicts and so forth. So I think that a combination of natural healing methods as well as checking in with modern science and medicine are important. Not one without the other, ever, for me at least. I think that there is health and healing in both, and we can utilize both. But I do appreciate you coming through with the word and the names for some natural healers out there. I appreciate you so much for calling in, Leroy, and taking your time. Listen, that is our time for the night. I appreciate you guys so much. I appreciate so many things right now. Happy 4th of July. Make sure that you are back here each and every Monday through Friday, 6 to 7 p.m., and, of course, over the weekend, I'm there, too. Coming up next is Zoe Williams, the voice of reason. Enjoy your holiday. I'll see you guys back on Monday.
Got him on light, just go bang, bang like I'm chopping them chops. VVS chain, I'm in love with the rocks. You say you gon' take it, you got me chopped. They throwing shit cause they see me on top to that super love, I'ma send you the drop. Press, 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 press. Cardi don't need more press. Kill them all, put them to rest. Walk in bulletproof vest. Please tell me who she gon' check. Murder scene, Cardi made a mess. Pop up, guess who? Lock up, guess who? Ding dong. Must be that whip that I ordered.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
I'm Amber Payton with BIN News Now. Sean Diddy Combs will stay in a New York jail while awaiting sentencing. He was acquitted of racketeering and sex trafficking, but convicted on 2 prostitution charges.
Probably probation.
Yeah, I think he's going to get the 5 or 6 because they're going to look crazy by doing all this, spending all this money, and he doesn't